Hello again. We are Chris Lee and Chase Robinson of Southeastern 16 here to preview Arkansas's Week 4 trip to Auburn. Both teams have got a loss at this point. Arkansas comes into this game a 3.5-point underdog with an over-under of 58.5. That makes for a predicted final of Auburn 31, Arkansas 28. You can catch this game at 2:30 Central on ESPN. Before we break down the matchup, a reminder, BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at a weekly prize and a share of $200,000. When the game is over, head on over to our online casino. Get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. BetOnline, the game starts here. Well, Chase, let's start our breakdown. When Arkansas has the ball, the offense is averaging 46 points a game on 76 snaps. It's turning it over 1.8% of the time. It's got a 51-49 pass run balance, so close to 50-50. It's averaging 7.3 yards per rush play and 6.4 per pass play. Remember, we take sacks out of those. And Auburn's defense giving up 14.3 points a game on 70 snaps, which is a lot, a 2.4% turnover rate. Teams throw the ball 56% of the time at Auburn. Some of that's a function of a couple of blowouts in which Auburn was ahead. 3 yards per rush play and 6.0 yards per pass play against this defense. I'll start by talking about Arkansas's offense. Love Taylen Green, Chase. He's been so good for them. He has been the guy that Bobby Petrino targeted in the offseason. He's run for 245 yards. He has thrown for 806, 3 touchdowns. Was not good Saturday. Arkansas just was really sluggish out of the gate against UAB, and it took him most of the game to recover, but did pull that one out. But he is just so hard to bring down. He is big. He is fast. He is elusive. I love their running game. Jarquez Jackson, one of the top backs in the league. He has run for 397 yards and been really good in all 3 games. 6 touchdowns, 8.4 yards per carry. Andrew Armstrong leads them in receiving, 18 catches, 301 yards. They've got a couple other guys, Tyrone Borden and Isaac Sategna, who are experienced targets for them. They'll throw the ball to Jackson a little bit. And I really like their tight end, Hasz. Even though he didn't do anything last game, I think he's one of the top tight ends in this league. Chase, this is a fun and exciting offense to watch, and it's going against an Auburn defense that statistically has been good, but I think you saw some holes as you watched the Tigers last week.
Yeah, they definitely have some issues. I was listening to Hugh Freeze's post-game press conference, and he was saying that is not at all how they expected the defense to be and how they played. They definitely now Dan Pierre, the New Mexico quarterback, he's a good dual threat guy. Has some similarities to what they're going to see in Taylen Green, and Hugh Freeze alluded to that in his post game press conference. He said this New Mexico State quarterback was good, and it's what we're going to see next week with Taylen Green. And so they've got to clean some stuff up defensively. New Mexico moved the ball really well on them. They only scored 19 points. They couldn't turn these drives into points, but they had no problem moving the ball against Auburn. And I think that's a problem for the Tigers that they are looking to correct. But you look at some defensive personnel. Jerrin Thompson has been huge so far for Auburn. He transferred in from Texas, so he's a very experienced player with the Longhorns that's now in Auburn, and he's definitely has a great start to the season. Jalen McLeod as well, a good start, and Sylvester Smith has a good start to the season as well for Auburn. Keldrick Falk, another name. Eugene Asante was kind of the defensive leader going into the season. He's had a pretty good start to the year defensively. And so, they've revamped the defensive line. And I think it may be taking a little longer than they thought for these guys to start gelling and playing like the good defensive line that they are. And so maybe it's this week they turn a corner and do that. But I do think there's some holes on the defense, especially in the secondary, that's allowing these offenses to get in that second level of the Auburn defense, and that makes it hard to stop on Auburn.
Chase, let's talk about the other side of the matchup when Auburn's got the ball, which has been interesting, though not maybe in the way Auburn fans would have hoped. Auburn is averaging 44 points a game. It is averaging 56 snaps a game. Pay attention to that. Auburn's defense on the field, 70 plays a game. Its offense just 56. That is because of a 5.3% turnover rate, which is just awful. It's got a 50-50 run balance through the Tigers, 7 yards per run play, 6.4 per pass play. Arkansas is allowing 22 points a game, a 1.1% turnover rate, so the Hogs not really forcing many teams. So at 58% of the time on Arkansas, mostly because Arkansas has played from ahead most of the time. 2.8 yards per run play against the Hogs. That might be the other reason. They're hard to run against. And 6.1 per pass play. Let's talk about the Tiger offense, which they made a quarterback switch, but they really leaned on Jarquez Hunter to get the win, and that's what I would have leaned on too if I were Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Peyton Thorne was very inconsistent against Cal, had all the turnovers. So they go to Hank Brown, who started against New Mexico. I was really impressed with Hank Brown in his performance. He put up a good numbers. He moved the ball well for them. He's got a good arm on him. And so he may not be the most mobile quarterback, but that's okay. You've got Jarquez Hunter. You've got a good running back room where Hank Brown could just focus on getting the ball down the field, and I thought he did that well. He hit his targets. He's a redshirt freshman, so he doesn't have a ton of experience, but I really liked his play against New Mexico, and he's going to be the starter against Arkansas. And Hugh Freeze said post-game he's going to be the starter until he proves something otherwise, and hopefully that will cause the rest of the team and the rest of the quarterbacks to wake up a little bit. But you mentioned Jarquez Hunter. He's off to a good start. He scored a couple of touchdowns. He has 282 yards on the year. Damari Austin has run the ball well so far. Also, he has a couple of touchdowns, 108 yards, and I feel like we're going to see this really good receiver room that's been revamped at Auburn. I think we're going to see them more as Hank Brown continues to be in the game for Auburn. KeAndre Lambert-Smith has had a good start to the year. He has 3 touchdowns, 182 yards. Cam Coleman, 115 yards. Perry Thompson, 114 yards. Rivaldo Fairweather got a good bit of touches the other night against New Mexico. Malcolm Simmons, another guy. There's tons of guys who are going to be catching the football. They just haven't had a quarterback who can consistently get them to them. But I think Hank Brown, again, I was really impressed with Hank Brown. I think he is going to be kind of the guy that can lift this team up. And I think they needed someone like that. I think Hank Brown is the guy to get it done offensively for Auburn.
Let's talk about the Arkansas defense under Travis Williams. I know the offense has gotten the lion's share of the attention, but the defense hasn't been bad. Really, you're doing without Hudson Clark right now. If you're Arkansas, he is one of their top, probably 2 defenders, 2 or 3 certainly coming into the year. He got a back injury in that Oklahoma State game. We're doing this Monday morning, and we don't know what the status of Hudson Clark is going to be for the Auburn game. They've got, of course, Landon Jackson, their preseason all-first team SEC defensive end, who's been okay. He's not really put up dominant stats so far. No sacks. Arkansas has had 5 sacks. None have come from Landon Jackson. I wouldn't have expected that. They've got Xavier Sori as their leading tackler, 23 stops a game. The Georgia transfer to Nico Slaughter, the Tennessee transfer, has been nice for them in the secondary. Leads them with 3 pass breakups. They got some big guys up front. Cam Ball, Eric Gregory, some guys like that, which is probably one reason they've been so stout against the run. So I'm looking forward. I think if you're Arkansas, you know Auburn's going to probably want to try to run the ball. And granted, the schedule's not been great so far. Pine Bluff, UAB, 2 of the 3 teams with Oklahoma State mixed in the middle. But when your run defense has been that good so far, where you're giving up less than 3 yards per rushing play, and then that's different than yards per carry because sacks factor in. I think a lot of what Auburn wants to try to do is something that maybe Arkansas can gum up based on what it's done so far there. So, Chase, let's give predictions and our whys for those predictions. I'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm going to take Arkansas in this one. I think it could be a close game. I like Arkansas's offense. I like Taylen Green. And just watching Auburn and their struggle against New Mexico's offense with a dual threat quarterback and how they were able to move the ball up the field, I feel like Arkansas can continue to expose some things that Auburn needs to improve on defensively. I think Taylen Green, this game is set up for him to have a really big day. And I think Auburn can get it done just based off the way their offense is and the talent that they do have. I feel like they're going to be able to move the ball on Auburn and convert those into points.
Yeah, I like Arkansas in this one too, even though it's the road underdog. I just think that you've got to be able to throw the ball in this day and age. And I know that with Green, it didn't look great last week. I'm just going to credit that to a hangover from a tough loss the week before. I think the big thing that stands out to me is just how much one team is on the field. Arkansas is getting off 76 snaps. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Auburn is on the field for 70 snaps. A lot of that's turnovers. Arkansas is going to play fast. It's going to bring Jarquez Jackson and Taylen Green at you. I just don't think Auburn has enough answers that I'm comfortable with at the quarterback position yet. Now, look, feels like Auburn has been so hot and cold the last few years. Just when you've counted them out, they come up with a big win. And just when you think they're going to get a big win, here comes Cal to town or somebody like that, New Mexico State. So this feels like a trap, but I'm going to have to go with what my eyes say, and I think I'm going to have to take Arkansas in this one.
Yeah, so I would agree. I mean, yeah, I think it could be a fun game, though. I really do.
Yeah, well, you can catch it again, 2:30 on ESPN. You can catch our recap Sunday night when everybody's done playing or close to it. We'll be wrapping up all the games. Best way to get that, hit the subscribe button, which costs you nothing, and hit your notifications button to enable those so you see when we go live. We also do basketball and baseball content every week here at Southeastern 14. So we are your one-stop shop for the three major sports in the SEC involving men, that is at least. So anyway, go ahead and do all those things. And if you're interested in advertising, Caroline.Smith@Southeastern14.com. For Chase Robinson, I'm Chris Lee. We are Southeastern 16, presented by BetOnline.